In this tutorial, we are going to go over the tabs at the top of InDesign and what each of them hold and how you use them. So I'll start with the most basic, the File tab. It's very similar to what you'll see in most Microsoft products. Under File, you have New, where you can create a document that will take you back to the Open dialog box that we've already covered. You can open another project. You can browse in Bridge. This will take you to Bridge to allow you to look at different pictures and things that you have available. I can also use this tool, Open Recent. Again, just like your open dialog box, this shows you what you've opened lately. Close, save, save as if you want to save it as a different one. You can save a copy. Revert is if you want to revert back to the last time you hit the save button. Let's say you made a bunch of changes and you can't undo them far enough, you can hit this revert button. Place, we're going to go over in the next tutorial when we talk about how to put pictures in. Export is important because when you are creating a file in InDesign, all of the pictures you put in are just simply referenced into the picture. So if you were to send someone an InDesign document and they don't have the original photos you put in there, then they would have a bunch of missing links and they would just look like X's. So when you are ready, anytime you're using InDesign and also for turning in, you'll need to export to save it as a PDF. You cannot do a save as PDF. It must be exported so that it'll package those pictures that are placed in there with it. There are other ones that most likely you won't use very often, but if you want to change the size of your paper space, you can go to Document Setup, and that's where you could go back and change it to say letter, or maybe you decide you want to do a portrait instead of landscape. The last couple options are package. This is an option if you're trying to send someone an InDesign file and you want them to have all of those pictures, the text, and everything you used. If you are ever taking yearbook, this is something we have to use. We need to package everything up to be able to send it to the person who prints our yearbooks. This puts everything you need into one big file. Most likely you'll just need to do the export as a PDF, but if for any reason you ever run across that. And then of course print and print booklet, and then if you want to leave the program entirely, exit. Under the edit button, there are a couple of really important things. There's also some pretty common things. There's cut and copy. You can do those through this tab, or you can use the shortcut keys. The nice thing about InDesign is it puts all of those shortcut keys right there for you. So maybe you're a person who'd rather do most of your typing or most of your work by typing it into the keyboard, then you can learn these shortcut keys in place. Select all, we'll select anything on there. In copy, probably don't need to use it very often. It's much more advanced program. The one thing you do need to take note of is the spelling. Okay, you're going to be using that spelling. So again, spell check is under Edit, Spelling, Check Spelling. It is not like a Microsoft product. It does not show you with a red line if something is spelled incorrectly. So you have to do spell check every single time you create a document. Do not forget to use spell check. Layout tab. Okay, the layout tab allows you to do essentially the same thing you can do in this Pages tab over here to the right, which we will go over later. You can change the margins, the columns. That's the kind of purple but line you see here and the pink line you see there. You can create guides. You can do numbering and section options. This is something also we use for yearbook. It's an automatic numbering system. When you put page 1, and anytime you add pages, it will automatically add the number wherever you place that. Not something you'll need to know for this class, but maybe you'll use it for something later on. And then table of contents, those things you don't need to know. Okay, the type button is the exact same thing as what you see in the character and paragraph. I don't use this very often, but it depends on your preferences. But this information, all of this information is also located in another tab that I will show you in the next tutorial. But everything under this tab is all about the type. Object, again, the same thing. There are these options that you see here will also be found in another tab to the right. But one thing that's nice about this tab is it allows you to transform each of these pictures or graphics that you've put in there. It is essentially something that can be found by right-clicking on any object, right-clicking on a picture, right-clicking on a frame. You can do all of those directly from the object itself, or if you're wanting to do it through the tabs, then you can do it that way. Let me show you what I'm talking about. If I have a box here, I can transform that object by going up here, but I can also transform that object by using my black arrow and right-clicking. See, all of these options are essentially the same thing as going to this object key. The only thing that's slightly different is there are certain options that aren't present. Most of them are. All the ones you need to know can be accessed by clicking your black arrow, right-clicking, and see you have the edit options, you have the transform options, you have all these other options as well. Kind of combining a couple of these different tabs. The table button, okay, it's essentially creating what you would do in a Microsoft Excel program. It creates a table. It allows you to add the number of rows. It allows you to insert the table, insert new rows or columns into the table. You can convert rows. So if for any reason you needed to have some sort of graph or some sort of table layout, then that's where you would go. This view key, I do use this probably the most often, other than just opening and edit and checking spelling. The view button allows you to do a couple of different things. You can say fit page in window. It allows you to kind of zoom in. It allows you to see actual size. So if you're doing a print preview type of thing and you want to see, well, what is this? What size is this in reality? You can go to actual size. It allows you to change this display performance. Oftentimes when you place a picture or you start to place multiple pictures, Adobe InDesign is going to kind of essentially dumb down the graphic look to keep your program running as fast as possible. People will most likely freak out thinking that it is not a high enough quality picture for print, but the only way you can know that for sure is by going to display performance and changing it to high quality display. After a while, it will switch it back to typical display again to make sure that your computer is running as fast as possible. So before you freak out about the quality of your picture, make sure you've checked display performance, high quality display. It also allows you to play around with guides or grids, which let me show you what those are. Those are little bars you can pull down. They are non-printing lines. They are just there to help guide your layout. Okay, so if you wanted to distribute the spacing on your magazine layout to make sure they go in the right place, that is what guides are for. It then allows you to create boxes and it kind of snaps into those spaces. Under the View tab, you have the ability to hide those guides if at some point maybe you're wanting to view the page as it would look in print. So if you say hide, it takes away all of your margin lines and any of your grids. I'll turn that back on. It allows you to lock the guides. So let's say you're doing a scroller and you wanted to select everything. It's going to automatically select the guides with it. So if you want to lock them to make sure they don't get selected, you can do that. You can say snap to guides or not. If you want the box that you're creating to automatically snap to that blue line, then I would suggest you use that. And then the last one you want to know that I use often is called hide frame edges. Okay, so there was a box there. Let's say I put a picture and I had all kinds of different colors and graphics in it. And I don't want to see these little nodes and the little blue outline around it. If I say hide frame edges under extras, it will hide it. And I'm going to show the frame edges. Okay, so you'll notice when the frame edges aren't hidden, I still get this big blue X through it. When I have the hide frame edges, they go away. This is a good thing to do before you print any of your documents. It gives you a much better picture of what the overall project is going to look like. This window tab we're going to cover in the next tutorial, and of course your help tab. If there's anything you need, more often than not, you can go to InDesign Help